We are live. We are absolutely direct in the building. We are here with Sue Jordan, who has an expansive 35-year sales career, now leads professionals, guiding them to a new way of sales. We all know most sales training was designed for men, by men.
Right.
Sue helps us to really step into a more aligned, relationship-driven way in order to buy our service and products, because people buy us, not the product. Welcome to She Leads She Sales, consultative sales expert.
You're so hyped up. Thank you, Jay.
Let's go. United States, England. We're through. So it's you guys tonight in the soccer World Cup. It's your turn.
Oh, okay.
Let's
All
go.
righty. Well, go USA.
No, USA. USA. Well, this topic is very close to my heart. Very close to my heart. I've created a whiteboard method that helps women to sell using a whiteboard. So that's my approach. So that's why it's quite interesting having this conversation. What makes your sales approach very different to the male-dominated sales scene?
Well, I can only share what I've done and experienced. And I learned while being a seller that men had certain challenges. Most business owners were men, let's face it, back when I got started, right? So men had a different challenge in sort of bonding and rapport with a male business owner, because as men, you have this like king of the hill thing that goes on. And so a lot of sales training was about teaching men to sort of play dumb, right? And in fact, I was in a training once where the man literally said, be a dumb blonde or play dumb. And at the time, there was a really young girl on the call, and she was like, I'm sorry. First of all, men think I'm dumb because, it's a patriarchal world out there. And second of all, I'm super young. So coming into the room playing dumb is absolutely not what I do. And, that helped me realize that, a lot of the training, because mostly salespeople were men for so long, was for men, written by men. And as women, we have different challenges. They aren't that one in particular, I sold cars for 6 weeks of my life, which I feel like when I die, I'm going straight through the pearly gates because I already did my purgatory. because, because in car sales used to be very male driven. And so what I experienced was everybody was there to help me, and they were there to help me. They were there to help me. They were supportive until I sold my first car. And then I felt what it was like to be a man in a man's world, because next day, nobody was my friend. I now became the king of the hill that their job was to, they couldn't have if I had, kind of thing. And it was not fun. So my heart goes out to dudes who have that kind of thing to navigate. But we as women have a completely different thing that we have to deal with. And a lot of it has to do with respect and earning that trust.
Okay. What are challenges that women have in terms of selling? Look, 70% of coaches are women. It's a big space. And so it's like, if women aren't selling, then it must mean that the 30% of men must be potentially dominating the space because people aren't.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. Women are selling. They just haven't written books, and they're not, they didn't start the training and all. It's like everything else in our society. We were in there doing the deal, but nobody was, asking us to write the books but I think that's changed today quite a bit because, like you said, a lot of coaches are women. Coaching basically is, serving and teaching. And, I think over time we've moved just as a society more into emotional awareness of what's going on
100%.
in all interactions with humans, right? We've sort of become a little more emotionally intelligent.
Yes.
And, I'm not saying men don't write good. I mean, I just finished a book. Men write great books but you kind of have to pick and choose, which is really my coaching style is understand your personality, where you're comfortable, understand the prospect, what their needs are, what their personality is, and build a bridge between the two. A lot of times people say, Well, you're not gonna change my personality, and that's, like, not the point. The point is try to adapt yourself to make them comfortable so that they can buy. It's kinda like are you familiar with, like, the 5 love languages? That was a book a
Yes, I
long
am.
time
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Correct.
Yeah. So you give the person that you're in relationship with the communication style they need to feel heard and cared for, and it's no different in sales. You have to the more people you can adapt to talk in a way that they feel comfortable, the more, business you'll get. So, you sell only to people like you and you'll make X amount of money. If you can learn to sell to people that aren't like you, that's when you really can have some success.
Thank you. Who do you love serving the most? I mean, look, your sales approaches, you could help anybody. You could help someone working in Walmart, to upsell, or you could help, CEOs in Fortune 500 companies. But what is right now at this stage of your life? Who is it that you most want to
Well,
serve?
mostly my passion is business owners, small business owners, and people get into business because they love doing a thing and they love serving people with a particular thing they're good at, and then they realize, oh, I have to sell, ugh, and people are so worried about being salesy. So I love helping business owners understand what it is that their customer needs and coming up with a way to talk about that and present it in a way that, people lean in instead of, get like, oh, don't try to sell me. But then also, I have a passion for young people who I just don't think the new generation has understands what selling is, and they might be intimidated and afraid of it. And then couple that with the fact that bigger companies today, the sales managers don't have a clue how to sell. Usually they come in, some of them have never even actually sold. They come in out of business school or something, and so they expect you to know how to do it. And I just recently got a brand new client. It's his first job in sales. He's actually the only person in the department. He's the sales, director, but he's really sharp and he just wanted somebody, he can't go to the owners because he can't let them know that he doesn't know what he's doing, but he wanted somebody like me who he could bounce his ideas off of, who could make sure he wasn't making mistakes. And, people have an instinct, but it helps a lot in their confidence to have someone like me say, yep, that's a good instinct, do that, or, don't do this. That's not going to, pan out the way you think. So business owners and young people are I love that.
Amazing. What I basically boil sales down to in terms of closing deals in the coaching space is number one, personalized results and people feeling seen and heard. Number two, laying out the cost of inaction, because without seeing the cost of inaction, people are going to move more due to pain than they are because of the potential solution. And next, last point is mitigating the risk. So finding a way to reverse the risk. So that's what I found closes the door every single time.
It's
What three
interesting.
things in your book do you find closes the door every single time?
Well, first of all, we'll start before the opportunity even presents itself. Sales is all about the follow up. And people are afraid to follow up. People are very busy today, and it surprises me how quickly someone feels rejected after the first attempt or second attempt. So, kind of create this idea that, until somebody tells you they're not interested, they might be interested, right? Like, so that's important. So, I think it's on us, it's on the salesperson's job to make it as easy as possible to have a discovery call or to have a presentation opportunity. So, the follow up, follow up, follow up, and then listening. I remember when I was selling, one business owner that, I came in, I did a discovery call, I said I had a solution, worked on the presentation and came back. And he was like, I can't believe you're back. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, you know how many people come in here and I tell them what I need and I tell them my goals and I never hear from them again. So, and listening, when I came back, one of the things I always do is repeat back to the person what they told me their needs were. Because sometimes we talk and as we're talking, certain personalities, especially like entrepreneurial type people, we say brilliant things, but we don't remember it. And so listening and then repeating back to them what they said they needed. And then you're absolutely right. the price, and then handling objections. That's if you're getting objections, they're interested, and that's when you just kind of have to match your style to the person that you're talking to. Because one of the things that I used to do if I had a piece of paper back in the paper days and somebody didn't like something I was presenting, I would crisscross it off and write it down because my personality type is to show the boldness of, oh, this paper doesn't matter. What you need matters. And then I find out there are all these people who you don't cross anything off on a piece of paper. That C personality that's a pristine thing. You don't write on that. So I had to adjust my style to figure out what do I need to do to make sure they know I can solve the problem they have and I've helped other people solve it too. And I'm passionate about that.
Wonderful. Uh, this book over there, so this helped to really shape the whiteboard method that I've been working the past 5 years on. This book shaped it. And I think the quote in the book is sophisticated prospects by most in consultations because of personalized, unique insight. So therefore being taught something new, fresh. So that book helped to shape my sales career. What helped to shape your sales career? What book?
Um, well, first of all, I mean, I'm going to date myself, but when I first got into sales, my brother-in-law gave me a sleeve of cassette tapes from Zig Ziglar, and I listened to them. I love to learn. I'm still learning. He said, help enough people get what you want and you'll have everything you need. And
Mhm.
that I was like, well, if that's what it is, I'm going to do it. Um, it's interesting that book that you pointed out, Challenger. So that's one of the personality types, right? The challenger, which a lot of business owners are. And what I learned in doing it was the challenger enjoys the game of the sale. So you can't be afraid of the game of it. And the really successful business owners, they like to kind of punch at you to see what weight class you are. And if you can't take the punch and punch right back, they lose respect for you. Now that's not all personalities, but people that own big businesses are usually that challenger personality. And they want to see that you put some skin in the game, like that you're strong enough, to take it. And so understanding that it's just a game.
Mhm.
I had one of those challengers nickname me the hammer, which I'm not really a hammer, but because I don't care what it's gonna take to if I know I have a solution to your problem, I'm passionate about it and I'll risk losing, the friendship or the whatever to tell you the truth, the thing that you need. And so he thought that, I said I'm the velvet hammer. I'm not the hammer. I'm the velvet hammer.
Amazing.
But no, book right now, I'll tell you what I love right now, like this book, Your
What's that?
Next
Oh,
5
yes.
Your
By
Next 5
Patrick.
Moves. Patrick
Patrick, yeah,
Bet-David,
yeah.
I believe he has a podcast, someone has told me
Yeah,
that,
yeah, he
right?
does. Yeah, yeah.
He talks in there, he has a way, a step how to shameless self-promotion, which he talks about, which is what really social media is and all marketing. It's shameless self-promotion. And he has a little exercise you do in there where you can pull things from your past life that you were successful at, pull them into the present so that you can get that confidence that you need to boldly talk about what it is you do. And I mean, I thought it was brilliant. So I use this in my coaching.
Amazing. I love that you are a forever learner, reader. Readers are leaders. You are definitely a leader. How are you getting visible? I mean, look, we have to get visible in this landscape. How are you getting visible and selling to your people? Is it workshops? Do you do a lot of offline? Like, yeah, how are you getting visible?
Well, I'm sort of new. I've been doing this for about a year, so I'm still in the planning and new opportunities. I just this week I'm starting working with a chamber, doing some lunch and learns for them to educate the chamber folks, which I want to do because I know that that's where those small business owners are, and they don't have a clue about how to network. So up till now, because I moved to this area a few years back and didn't know anybody, networking is a way that I still, I go out and meet people face to face. But I'm also doing all the things, I'm I know there are with social media and LinkedIn and stuff, things that AI needs to know to recommend you with authority. So I'm trying to do those things. But I just look for new opportunity. Like this is an opportunity for me to meet you, Jay, and to talk to you. I always say yes to everything because I don't know where my next client's going to come from.
100%. Really love that. What would you say as an expert in 2026? What's the biggest challenge for you in terms of like with the social media, the noise, the AI,
Yeah.
the
Well,
patriarchy? Like, what's the
the
number one?
patriarchy. No, the what I think so I wanna help people start their own businesses, like,
Yes.
not because my world changed. I used to when I started my career, everything was locally owned, and then I went through
Mm,
personally that corporatization of my industry, which is now completely changed and dead, and, so I love the passion and I wanna help people, but what I find is it's very similar to why people are afraid to be salesy. We're afraid to be salesy because we're at a networking thing and we see somebody selling people when they should be networking. And we think, oh God, I don't want to be that person. Oh my gosh, what are people going to think of me? Well, social media is the same way. I see people and I cringe and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be like me, look at me, because my whole thing is help you. But at the same time, you have to promote yourself. So I think that's a real challenge is to have that balance, to not be, I don't know, so wrapped up in your own story that forget that we're here to help each other.
amazing. Let them know how they can contact you, who you're looking for, and also, um, yeah, how they can contact you and yeah, who you're looking for, basically. Yeah.
Well, I have a website, SueJordanCoaching.com. You can reach out that way. Who I'm looking for is, it's funny with coaching, and I'm sure you know this. You think everybody could use coaching, but only people w- that see they have a problem and they're willing to do something about it. That's the best prospect. Because if you think you're killing it and you're doing great, you don't need a coach. It doesn't matter what I think, or, you can't help people who don't want to be helped, right?
What?
So it's that mindset of, and here's the thing, we are in our own lives, we can't be objective. So you need somebody from the outside who's willing to look at what's going on and be honest with you. And so I'm looking for that type of person who wants to be better.
Amazing. Sue, it's been an honor. You really are someone who is dedicated to constant and never ending improvement. You've got a good heart,
Thank
great
you.
heart to serve, and we are so lucky to have you, my sister.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Amazing. She leads, she sells. London to Florida, Sue Jordan in the building, and we are out.